The first company that I want to talk about today is ESET Technologies, and ये company data server and storage में काम करती है, which is probably the next big theme in IT. See, just last year, ये sector में growth was about 28%, and within this field as well, data storage comes in multiple types. उसमें से the type that ESET Technologies provides for us is what we call a hexa data form. इसका advantage क्या होता है that companies can use these forms of storage and servers to immediately conduct operations. ये हर storage में नहीं हो पाता. So this is a big advantage that companies that tie up with ESET Technologies by default get. So even within this field of servers, ESET Technology has a competitive advantage. There is a lot of detail that I'm avoiding in this video because ये काफी बड़ा topic है, the data servers business. I will be making another video on this, so if you want that, just drop a comment so that I know and I'll have it up soon. अगर हम ESET Technologies के details को भी check करते हैं, तो first up, the company is profitable, has been profitable for a few years now. If you also check its balance sheet, the company is zero debt. हमें यहाँ liabilities दिख रही हैं, but most of this liability comes from trade payables, and that is covered by trade receivables. So trade payables are about 76, whereas receivables are 92, which means our liabilities and assets are winning out. The company is zero debt as well. You take all that into account, and the company seems like a no-brainer to me if we're thinking about a 20-year horizon, right? ये एक ऐसी theme है जो कहीं जाने नहीं वाली. If we're talking about AI becoming a big deal, or if we're talking about information technology in any form within the country or globally, then ESET Technology ka business, data servers and data storage is something that is only going to magnify over time. And that's why this is a buy and will be a part of my portfolio for the next 10 to 20 years. The next company that I'm focusing on is EMS, and this is from the water treatment industry. I've spoken about this industry multiple times in the past, and even right now, इस market fall में भी EMS and iron exchange जैसे stocks ज़्यादा गिरे नहीं हैं. What that shows us is that the market, the strong hands in the market, are not ready to let go of these stocks, and they have a good reason for it, right? India का water treatment industry is already valued at about $11 billion or close to 1 lakh crores. Whereas the three big listed players in this industry, उनका combined market cap is nowhere close to that. Even if we leave the growth aspect of these companies aside, just from a PE multiple aspect, अभी भी इन companies को यहाँ से 5 times valuation पे trade करना चाहिए, just for their market cap to match the market cap given to the industry as a whole. Again, if we check the details for EMS Limited, we can first see that the company is profitable, has always been profitable, so that's a good sign. If we look at the balance sheet as well, इनके reserves far outweigh the liabilities, so the company is essentially zero debt. Inka management is also very, very good. If you look at the investors, they have not reduced their stake, whereas almost har company mein promoters have been reducing stakes. EMS mein that has not happened, which is again a very good sign. You combine all of that together and you get a company that seems primed to grow over the next 10 to 15 years. So I'm definitely going to hold on to it. And along with EMS, there's another company from the water treatment industry that I really like called Iron Exchange. And this company has a few added benefits to EMS. First is, इनका B2C and B2B business भी है, where they manufacture packaged drinking water that can be sold directly to consumers. They also sell the same water, let's say, to hotels, big hotels, restaurants, etc. And this company also has exposure to chemicals, जहाँ पे, for example, जो आप RO use करते हो अपने घर में, उसका जो reverse osmosis barrier होता है, right? उसकी life बढ़ाने के लिए they make a chemical. And this is applications across various industries, and they have other chemicals as well that help other industries. So Iron Exchange is not just an exposure to the water treatment industry, it is also giving us an exposure to the chemicals business, which I again believe should do well in the next recovery since they haven't really performed over the last 3 to 4 years. And they also have exposure to exports, which was not present with EMS. इस कंपनी का अराउंड 28% रेवेन्यू कम्स फ्रॉम एक्सपोर्ट्स, एंड देयर इज अ रीजन बिहाइंड इट. ये कंपनी एक्चुअली इंडियन थी ही नहीं. दिस वाज पार्ट ऑफ द परमिटेड ग्रुप फ्रॉम द यूके, एंड देन दे डिस्बैंडेड इन 1985 फ्रॉम इंडिया. So I think they kept the relationships from there, and since they have this global exposure, ये एक तरीके से hedge हो जाता है against any political turmoil that might come into India. So we get exposure to the water treatment industry. We also get exposure to the chemicals business, to some level of exports, ताकि geographically भी हम अपने आप को diversify कर पाए. Combine all that together, And again, seems like a good company to stay invested in for 10 to 15 years. And I would buy in right now because it's already corrected by 10-15%. Now, looking at the details of Iron Exchange, we can again see that the company is in fact profitable and has historically been profitable for the last 11 years. For the balance sheet, we can again see that the reserves are about equal to the liabilities, but within the liabilities as well, the largest part comes from trade payables and wo balanced out here from trade receivables. So trade receivables are much greater than the trade payables, and that is good enough for us to say that the company is effectively debt free. The last stock that I'm talking about today is Max India, and yes, it belongs to the Max group, but that is not what interests me about this stock. They are in a very innovative business. ये elderly care and hospice care में involved हैं, and that with the westernization of our country should become a big business over the next few years. See, हमारे बच्चे तो हमें अपने साथ रखेंगे नहीं, so maybe Max India का share can pay for our hospice care later. They also have some great investors like Porinju Velliath, who's invested in the company, and they also have an exposure to the real estate business. इन्होंने recently elderly focused communities बनानी शुरू की है where only retired people above 55 live. And the best part is इनके दो ऐसे outlets, one was in Noida and the other was in Dehradun, they sold out immediately, which tells me there is a lot of demand for this business. So Max India is not only giving us an exposure to one part of healthcare जिसमें इंडिया में कोई और कंपनी है ही नहीं. It is also giving us an exposure to the real estate side of India. Combine all that together, the fact that इनके पास Max की pedigree है, the fact that they're moving towards profitability, great investors like Porinju Velliath, you add in the real estate exposure to this business, and you get a firm that you should stay invested in for the next 20 years or so. Now, if anyone here wants to trade in the futures, then I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. I'm going to be going long on Britannia for the next 6 months, and I'm okay अगर वो stock 10-15% correct कर जाता है तो I'm fine with that. The reason I'm going into it is वो मेरा hedge है. Since I'm mostly short on the market, ये long position will be a hedge because I know Britannia is not going anywhere, right? 6 months down the line, the stock will touch its new highs, and that's a 20% upside for me. Other than that, I also have some exposure to HAL, but that is something with a strict stop loss because it's a very volatile stock. And that's about it for my long positions. For short positions, I am short on IT because I don't think Jan में results उतने अच्छे आएंगे जितना हमें लग रहा है. Seasonally भी January is a weak quarter for IT stocks. So hopefully the stocks start correcting now. And even if they don't start correcting now, I do see the US slowing down. Either just because of the Fed rate hikes or because Donald Trump is bringing in tariffs, and that's going to bring some friction one way or another. So combine all of this, I see the IT stocks correcting a lot, and that's why I short position there. I also think autos will be weak, but I'm not building a short position there yet because हो सकता है January में numbers जो पिछले quarter के आए थोड़े अच्छे आए. So after that, maybe I'll go into short positions there if I see a rally. And that's about it, right? Long positions are in FMCG and defense, and short positions are in more consumer-focused stocks like M&M or in IT stocks, which are more export-focused to the US and Europe. I hope you liked this video. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please drop a like and a subscribe. I'll see you next time.